Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha. Good evening, everybody. And I'm wondering, has everybody got dragging internet, or is it just me? I know it's not just me because I was talking to somebody on the phone today, taking care of a little bit of business, and they said, "Man, it's taking a long time to upload stuff on my computer." And this was a company that takes your money, so I don't know why they would want it to drag. So I'm just curious if everybody's got the same problem. Well, we got the Trump tapes out. Big deal, right? Oh, you listen to it or you read the transcripts and, oh, yeah, Trump broke the law. So anybody with a 12-year-old mentality, and you can be 70 years old or 50 years old, 30 years old, whatever, and have a 12-year-old mentality. And they're going to say, yeah, we got him this time. There's no way he's getting out of it now. It is so ridiculous and nauseating. We ought to do a breakdown of all the lies, all the libel, coordinated libel, number them, and lie. You know them all. Charlottesville, Russia, on and on, grabbing people, privacies and stuff like that. It's all lies. It's all been, as they say, debunked. And people who keep up with that and put on these shows and openly denigrate or speak with venom of Donald Trump, that we need to rebuke them. We need to tell them like it is. You just don't want to hear it. It's all garbage. You want to repeat garbage, repeat it to yourself. Don't talk to me about it. So we got to, just be polite, but scold them like a child, a 12-year-old child. Hi, Kicking Bird. Yes, you are first. Hi, Damon, Georgia, Diane, White Lightning. We used to drink that. Rick, how you doing? Lori. So let's see. Finding Dory, how are you been? I hope you've been doing good. Hi, Sharon. Melinda. So anyway, I hope you all had a good time last night. I had a picture show last night, and I'm working on the audio. But I tell you what, when I get something off Rumble, TikTok, and Truth Social, it is very difficult to get audio. And I find that very strange. And also, when I was on Rumble and did something, jumped off there, it went straight to TikTok. I don't even have a TikTok account. So I find that curious. And I think what's going on with Rumble is that there's people working in there that shouldn't be. And I think they're going to get rooted out by Mr. Nunez and Mr. Bongino. So we'll see. And if we get these nuisance situations taken care of, Rumble will be the place to be. And I'm saying Rumble, I don't care. Bumble, Rumble. If they want to give me a hard time, you tizzle. I'm about due for a hard time. This is about as long as they let me go. I'm on the outside of when I usually get smacked for something. Hi, cameraman. How'd you get through with that weather the other day, bud? Hi, Nikki. How are you? Yes, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe and share. Hi, everyone. Henri, how are you? Hi, Robin. Nice to see you. So, Lori's here. Vicky, how are you? Smoky in Michigan, yeah, the Canadian wildfires. Oh, I bet you are feeling sick from that stuff is still ongoing. Resident moron sold a lot of state secrets and very important things. Yeah, he was called live TV. Yep. Sky News and Newsmax reported on it. But we got to get people to break away from the usual dung the Dung services, D-U-N-G. Hi, Georgia. You made it through. That's good, camperman. Good to hear that. Hi, Debbie. So if anybody's tuning in to about the Trump tapes that are trying to find I mean, you can go to Midas Touch, their psycho level haters on Judge Cannon and Trump and Roger Stone, all that kind of. So you can go there because I got to tell you what about this 12-year-old would say. Well, he says right on the tape, this is classified. I can't show it to you. I'm not supposed to show it to you. And he says he's got it right here in his hand. Well, I could have a deck of cards in my hand. I could take my thumb and make them go and say, you see these cards? They're secret. I can't let you see them. There's no way you could see them if I did that. Same with papers. I could take them and flip them with my thumb or wave them around in the air. If I don't let you read them, I didn't divulge anything. Everybody knows the President of the United States, former presidents, former intelligence service, former FBI heads, CIA agent, they all have classified information, hard copies. They're allowed to possess them if they have the right level of security. So people hear this tape, and I'm wondering, did somebody leak it that wasn't supposed to? Did Mr. T do something where he found out somebody who wasn't loyal? Because I heard early on, this was, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, that the tapes were out there. We a lot of us remember hearing that. And that this was during a discussion that Trump was asked if he wanted it recorded. He said, sure, yeah. He gave permission. And the one staffer said Hillary would be printing them out and giving them to, I think they said China or somebody like that. And Trump said, yeah, and to Andrew Weissman, the pervert. Did you all catch that? Andrew Weissman is the one I refer to as Mr. Sweaty Man. And I said we'd be hearing a lot about him in the future. He's behind a lot of this. Hi, Ingrid. I'm just looking through here. Yeah, I guess a lot of people are suffering from that smoke. Did you notice Trump went to New Hampshire? He's been out and about quite a bit. He didn't let this tape business bother him one bit. Now, he did put out some stuff from, I'll go over with Mark Levin and his own comments concerning this. But I was talking to Red, and I told him, and I'm the same thing I'm going to talk about tonight, among other things, is to think to yourself like you were a desperate despot, because they're all little despots. The ones who get these lifetime positions, they're complaining now that the Supreme Court should have term limits. That's their target. They've been going on about the Supreme Court, but they don't address the fact that bureaucrats, the majority of bureaucrats, are lifetime positions. Imagine that. Andrew Weissman's been in government forever. Jen Psaki's been in government most of her professional career and wants to continue to stay. Vindman, all these creepos make a career out of government, quote, service. Who the hell are they to demand that Supreme Court justices have term limits? They're the ones who got eternity in government. They're the ones that can stay burrowed in the woodwork, and there's no way to get them out. They're the ones who feel like, and it's true to a large extent, they have no bosses. So anyway, pretend you're one of these little despots, and they get in these think tanks, and they think plan A, plan B, plan C. Think about all the things they could try, and take a look back at all the things they have tried to disrupt this, I'd say, march toward America 2.0. And then, if you have a devious mind, if you know that you can't put anything past them, a lot of stuff will pop in it. You'll think at first, oh, that's crazy. Is it really now? Think about this 36 months ago. If you were told about everybody being forced to wear masks, everybody being 6 feet apart, businesses being shut down, people being forced to get a jab in their arm, worldwide economy being damaged, you'd been called crazy, 36 months, 3 years ago, a little over that. People would have said, you're crazy. So no, you can't put anything past them. Now it's not a big deal to say, oh, they're going to arrest Trump. Now it's not a big deal or not shocking to say that, because they already have twice. But how about 2 years ago? They're going to arrest Trump. Oh, you're thinking crazy. How about gun confiscation? Oh, that's crazy. They'll never get it taken away from Americans. There's too many people with too many guns. That's what the Australians thought. That's what the Australians thought. So, be as innocent as lamb, but as sharp as a serpent's tooth. Get that serpent's tooth out and think to yourself, what can they do? And when you start going down that devious road, and you start thinking up ideas, just remember, there's somebody that's already doing that, and people in a position to make things happen, like Trump being raided, like Trump being arrested, like putting out a psyop that has people terrified to go out something on their driver in their car by themselves. So, what are some of the things to be prepared psychologically for? Because, as I've been saying every broadcast, it is an illegal psychological warfare campaign. So one of the ways to blunt the effectiveness of a psyop is to see it coming. If you see it coming, you're not going to be nearly as compromised emotionally, prone to overreaction or doing something that is going to make things worse for you or your loved ones in the long run. Look at J6. They had that figured out. To be honest, I had a bad feeling about it. But did I think that they would go to the lengths they've gone to? Did I think that there would be people still in jail to this day for trespassing and parading? No. So if all these outrageous things have already happened, think of what things they can do. What things they can do. We know about FFs, We've already been warned about World War III. We've already been warned about the N-word, nuclear, right? Oh, Georgia, you got it bad, huh? Northeast Pennsylvania. That's right, Diane. Reuters did that. Reuters did that investigation, and they found that every living former U.S. president, except Mr. T, are direct descendants of slaveholders, including Moron and Obama. That's exactly right. Yeah. Mr. T posted that. I took a screenshot of it so I could read it to you. That's right, Georgia. Slow internet. I talked about that when I first started broadcast. I was asking, has anybody else been experiencing that? Because I have. This is the third day where I had a delayed ability to get online. Otherwise, I'd been on it a bit earlier. Like, I mean, I'm talking like 5 minutes for everything to get where it needed to be and have all my stuff punched in. That's good to hear, Outlandish. Work on getting me stronger. Watch Dr. Eric Berg on YouTube. You can you can watch videos tailored to whatever situation you're in, and things can get much better. So anyway, you all think about what little plans they might have up their sleeve, and I'll go over some of the things I think they're going to be cooking up in the future. But did you hear Dr. Fauci got a plum job at Georgetown University? Have you all heard that? They either go to colleges or they work for one of the FAKE news agencies. Here he is. Anthony Fauci. Now you figure at his age, it's a payoff. It's a reward for job well done. Fauci becomes, quote, distinguished professor at Georgetown Medical School, raking in $400,000 per year pension. I think what I have to offer is experience and inspiration to the younger generation of students. That's what he says. So he's got a $400,000 a year retirement. I mean, what he goes in there for a week and then goes home and collects a check? I don't know. Kickin' Bird, how you doing? All right. Yeah, we can go to Texas. Sounds good. Rubber Toe, how are you doing? Oh, Nikki B says, local paper talking about internet apocalypse. They say we could be without internet for months. Pete Buttigieg is they're trying to get a bill to keep him to make him fly private jets. Well, they're trying to do something. Georgia got a bad connection. Hi, Cheryl. Well, hopefully those things will clear up. But I tell you what, presidential powers during a state of emergency or war. Remember, Lincoln shut down barrels full of newspapers all over the country, shut them down, ran everybody out of the building. So in a lot of ways, these sites we have our chit chats on and the internet itself could be ordered to be restricted or shut down entirely. He can commandeer them, just like when Trump had GM stop everything they're doing and make respirators. He had 3M 3M, the ones who make sticky notes and all kinds of stuff, he had them stop what they were doing and start producing masks. Okay? Well, you turn that to an evil intent, like Joe. What could he commandeer and force businesses to do? So it's just to get your mind in a state where you're not shocked and you don't think that the world's coming to an end. Life under gas. How you doing? Dottie. There you go. Good thing I got a lot of DVDs to watch. I even got VHS tapes. I can watch a whole lot of movies. And there you go. Georgia says, I'll be Bible studying. So, yeah, there's plenty of things to do without this crazy internet. And it might do some bodies good to get off of it anyway. Especially the younger ones. They got to look around at the real world and go, "What? Where am I? It's called Earth. What is that on the ground? It's a leaf." So did you know Trump went to New Hampshire today? And yesterday I reported on that the B.I. went up to New Hampshire and arrested somebody for J6. Remember that article I read? And they charged him with parading and protesting in a restricted area, no damage or anything. And I thought to myself, and I voiced this, I said, wouldn't it be something if there were certain elements of the FBI rounding up instigators? Because hold me to it, but saw a photograph supposedly of this person, and looked to me like they had a mask on. She looked like a middle-aged woman. But as we know, at that time, and especially now, real Trumpers didn't wear those. And she was chanting, "Break it down, break it down." So I don't know. I don't know. And then Trump is right up there in New Hampshire today. And, of course, gets a great welcome and really hits detailed points as to what he's going to do when he gets in. So I thought that was interesting. But, about this Trump tape, how did they get their hands on it? How did they get their hands on it? And did Mr. T set somebody up to expose themselves as a leaker? I think that's something to think about. He's certainly not concerned about it. But let's see, what is some of the stuff Mark Levin came out with? He was saying whoever leaked it needs to go to jail. And Mr. T posted that, reposted that. He said Jack Smith needs to go to prison for this. Cheryl said, I lost my voice for a few days. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I've been there. I have a little trouble with that sometimes. Dottie says, Jean-Pierre gone. She didn't show up today for a press conference. Yeah, I saw that, Outlandish. I saw him holding that license plate up. F8K. Ha ha. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. She can't hang. They're asking too many really hard-hitting questions. Is that EO still in effect? Which one, Georgia? Which one? That's right, Matthew. Yeah, unless they expire on their own whatever executive orders Mr. T put in place. Excuse me while I have a sip of my coffee. Whatever executive orders Mr. T puts in place, Biden can't override, because Trump already proved that. Trump went all the way to the Supreme Court because he tried to overturn an Obama executive order, and they fought him tooth and nail. And Trump went to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said, "That's right, Mr. Trump, you cannot overturn President Obama's executive orders." And everybody said, "Ha ha, we won." And Trump said, "Yeah, well, you guys just gave me a lot of power." And then he started putting out his executive orders. Remember that, folks? EO 13848. Yes, that is still in effect. Still in effect. Let me see if I got a breakdown of that. That's 13848. Hopefully I won't drop off my transmission here. So 13848. Imposing certain sanctions in the event of foreign interference in the United States election. That might be a trump card. And I was going to ask two things. What kind of devious tricks should we be looking for? What's next? Okay. And I was also going to ask, what's the trump card? Everybody's been wondering. I have been. Yeah, that's right, Diane. Foreign interference. And I can read you a part of that. Let me pull that up. It says, I, Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America, find that the ability of persons located in which, in whole or in substantial part outside the United States, to interfere in or undermine public confidence in the United States elections, including through the unauthorized accessing of election and campaign infrastructure or the covert distribution of propaganda and disinformation. Holy cow, did you hear that? Not just interfering electronically, but with spreading propaganda or disinformation. Boy. Constitutes an unusual and extraordinary threat to the national security and foreign policy of the United States. So, yeah, there's certain sanctions for that, like lose everything you own. So that's still in effect. Robin says, we may have communication issues soon to stop us. Yes, that's one of them. Kicking Bird says, I'm buffering. Nikki said, the connection's good. That's good. Yeah, Derek Johnson. Yeah, I don't have a problem with him. But he goes over things. I've at least gone over since last year, since I started doing videos. But hey, if he gets the word out better than me, more power to him. I know all about the cannons during the inauguration. I know all about the executive orders. So, and I know about everybody's hats at the inauguration. Diane, I heard today that the Brunson case got dismissed today. I just learned that from a text message from somebody. Robin said he lost the internet last night. Yes, Kicking Bird said all that land that CHYNA bought, can be confiscated. And Gary, how you doing, Gary? Gary said something much big. Brunson is coming. Very big. Oh, Georgia, you got it plugged in, honey? Hit that like button, Karen says. Yeah. I agree, Gary. I think something big is coming. And I just don't know when it's going to come. But I as we're all cogitating on what these devious minds might try to pull, I'm thinking that what's sticking in my mind is the many times Mr. T said stuff is going to happen. And he says it in such a way that these things are going to happen not under his watch. He talked about gas prices, okay, over the course of the next year is going to go sky high. So, you know, if he was in the presidency, that wouldn't be an issue. So if he's saying it's going to happen, well, something big is not going to happen right now. When they say pain is coming, I started thinking the other day, it's going to be a two-way street. I'm afraid we're going to have to go through more pain for these people that haven't got it yet. And there has to be consequences suffered for forfeiting our right of self-governance by just giving it up. If people feel the sting enough, as Sherman said, the hard hand of war, there's much more likely that it will never happen again or be a long, long time before it happens again. Now, we know we didn't give up our right to self-governance, but if you talk to your neighbor, the average person, they don't know who their representative is. They don't know who their senator is. I've been over that stuff, and I don't mean to beat a dead horse. They don't know who the person is on for their district in their part of their parish or county or whatever. They have no idea. They're not involved. They're school boards. So that has got to be drilled into the American people's head. If you don't take self-governance seriously, somebody else will govern you. So that punishment level has not happened. Yeah, we've been paying more, and we've been watching freaks on TV, and we've been getting mad at these people that call themselves educators, what they're doing with young people. But we haven't really hit a scare event or real deprivation. And I mentioned it before in the 70s. Gas lines. That's one thing Joe could do in emergency is ration things where you're forced to cut back, whether you like it or not, to say 5 gallons a week, 5 gallons of gas a week, we got a ration. What if that happens? Lone Wolf said, I've been trying to open my 2 sons' minds. When they were in the military, in the 2000s. How you doing, Lone Wolf? Nice to see you. Wolfpack says, never get any of my notifications. We got to make sure you hit that, check that bell. The bell, we got to click on that. Cameron says, yes, the darkness will fall before the light comes. That's right. We got to go through a scare event, and people have got to be very concerned. Now, that what I'm trying to do is let you all know that I think there's going to be events happening, and there's going to be deprivations, there's going to be hard times, but we have to be psychologically prepared for it. But these hard times are coming to get these people that have no clue or feel that everything's fine. They need to understand, no, it's not fine. And they need to understand why it's not fine, so that we can all be unified to make sure it doesn't happen again. And I don't know how that's going to be. I know the gas prices, we were told, is going to be a factor. But Mr. T has said Americans haven't really felt it yet. Those who have others to lean on, community friends. Oops, whoa, my chats are jumping around. Yeah, people have somebody to turn to. And those, yeah, we'll be fine. And when you have somebody that is really in the dark and scared, we got to be able to reach out to them in a rational way. That's right. Karen, truth shed lights and shrinks to darkness. That's right, Georgia 72, we were rationing gas. Those were terrible times. They were scary times. And sometimes you would wait in line for gas and they bring out a close sign because it was your day. I can't remember if we had to go odd or even days, but you would go on your day and wait in line, and about 3 cars ahead of you, they stick a close sign out because they're out. So you couldn't even get gas on your assigned day. Pride before the fall, maybe next month. I don't know. Oh, that's right, George. Everybody's staring at their phones all day. They go nuts. Let's see. Lone Wolf won. Yeah, there was rationing back in the 70s. But I'm thinking now, as we continue with this thought of what could they be up to? What kind of tricks would they pull? They've been after the Supreme Court. They've mentioned heavily 2 justices by name, Alito and Clarence Thomas. And like I said 36 months ago, if I told you certain things had happened back then, you'd have thought I was crazy back then, 36 months ago. So I'm going to say right now, what if Jack Smith or some other unhinged prosecutor from California or from New York, like with Trump, or who knows where, issues a warrant for arrest of Clarence Thomas or Alito or both? Remember, no one's above the law, right? You guys think I'm crazy? Would that be a constitutional crisis? I'm reading what you said, Karen. The Supreme Court could reverse the last election. Well, not if they're in jail. Think I'm crazy? That's right, Gary. For those of us that are strong and love God and faith, our mission is to help those and guide those that are lost. But think of that, folks. You think that's a possibility or totally outside of the realm. I'm just talking crazy. What if they arrested Clarence Thomas? Indicted him. I'm not saying it's like tomorrow or anything, but plans down the road. Don't think it's not in the cards. Desperate people. It's in the cards, I bet. Either Alito or Thomas. You know, Marjorie Taylor Greene, this is her third try to impeaching Joe. She tried 2 other times. But what made me think of that is where Karen's talking about the Supreme Court reversing something. She's trying to get Mr. T's impeachments expunged. MGT is. How you doing, Roy? Joined the military in the 70s. Just get 3 square meals. Anything can happen at any time, Robin says. That's right. But I'm just trying to prepare myself where I'd say, I figured they'd do that. But I tell you, this thing I put up yesterday about Zelensky suspending the election, that's another thing that could happen here. They could close down media, okay? They could ration staples, not just gas, but food. But they do quite a bit more. They could arrest other politicians or Supreme Court justices. I mean, it sounds crazy, but all the stuff that's going on, we think is crazy and would have really thought was crazy 3 years ago. So I don't know. We know that Mr. T calls Jack Smith a psycho. That's for sure. I know that. And psychos can do anything, especially when they're desperate. Desperate psychos. So I want to see, I had that post from Mark Levin that said that Jack Smith needs to go to jail for releasing that tape to CNN. I want to find that. Where in the world did that go? I don't want to lose my internet connection, so I can't stay out of the studio too long. I've been hearing, Lone Wolf said, I've been hearing about the coming election not happening. I've seen that a couple times in the chats. And I showed last night how they're preparing us psychologically for the idea of a suspended election by Zelensky saying it's suspended. They said, well, it's not scheduled to happen till spring of 2024. Well, that's one way to put it in the newspaper. The other way is to say he canceled this spring's elections, this spring coming. Don't have to say 2024. It's right around the corner. And then they said, well, they suspended them during World War II, the British, so it's not that big of a deal. So they're getting us ready for that. And I would not be shocked at all if because they delay them now. They've been delaying them since 2016. What excuse do they use? A broken pipe. We're counting. We're still counting. I thought this computer stuff was supposed to make things go real quick. When everybody was hand counting back in the 80s. We found out by 8 o'clock that night. So, yeah, be bold, pray out loud. I tell you, as far as the people that still grab those moldy, nasty straws, that the grabbing at straws to bash Trump, I just go, hey, I don't want to hear it. It's foolish. It's childish. He's a former president, and he's lined up for 40 to be the 47th, and I don't want to hear a bunch of crap and nonsense and lies. Don't repeat lies to me. Gary said, forget 2024. Tracks are heading for a cliff. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's see. Yeah, they're pushing for civil war, but that doesn't mean they're going to get it. So anyway, did you notice Rick Grinnell was back in the news, but not in big time? But I had just mentioned Rick Grinnell. I had talked about him being in Arizona with Kerry Lake during the some of the court cases and the night of the election. And then after he clears out, this information comes out about fake deeds, the Sinaloa cartel laundering money, officials in Arizona benefiting from that by the hundreds of thousands of dollars, the millions of dollars. Well, now you hear Rick Grinnell is as ambassador to Germany, I believe. He's over there fixing up a deal in Kosovo. And I mentioned Kosovo last week in connection with this psycho Jack Smith. And Trump always puts his name in quotation marks, Smith. So that tells you that's not his original last name. So that Jack Smith put the president of Kosovo in prison. And the next thing you know, Rick Grinnell's down there, and they're saying he's got something hammered out for peace in Kosovo, or a solution to Kosovo's situation. Isn't that strange? Well, we'll keep up with that. Now, there's a new whistleblower out, and they call him Mr. X. Have you all heard that? Mr. X. And that made me think of who the first leaker was. The name was One Eye. Who was One Eye? I did a video on that, and that's in the title. Who was One Eye? So we got Mr. X and One Eye. And Comer, what is that his name? Comer in House of Representatives said that it's going to be something even bigger dropping on Biden maybe this week. So we got Mr. X coming out. We got this hint that something even bigger is coming out on Biden. And we had Mr. Trump say, President Trump say, that China is going to drop a dime on the Bidens, that his presidency will not survive. And he said, the fake news was going to have a hard time covering it up. So we're on the edge of something big happen. Maybe not I know it's not going to be the final boom. I still maintain that we're going to feel like we've been hit by a ton of bricks. Most of us in this conversation, we have a psychological umbrella over us that can deflect that because we know what they're up to and what the game is. But a lot of people aren't going to have a psychological shield of that ton of bricks that is going to fall on people. And at the risk of repeating myself, to make sure we don't do this. We don't go through this again. Not 10 years from now, not 20 years from now, not 100 years from now, not 500 years from now. What is got to happen? What has got to happen to the American condition has to be so much of a smack in the face, a wake-up call that we tell our children about it. We tell our grandchildren on down the line, and that it's taught in every school. That's what's got to happen. And we have not gotten to that point yet. And did you all see my thumbnail? A quote from Marcus Aurelius. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. And I put an amen next to that. Because that's what it's all about, folks. That's what we're going through this for. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And I remember, hi Karen, how are you? I remember last year, I said that the Montesquieu I was quoting referred to the American system as a great experiment, the great experiment, the noble experiment. And somebody in the chat said, I don't think I've seen since, all caps, and just, I am not an experiment. I am not a guinea pig, blah, 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 blah. So you have this knee-jerk reaction to a quote from a philosopher. People got to get educated, and they need to temper their thoughts. And the best way to temper your thoughts is to be sophisticated in knowledge and logic. He called it a noble experiment because it's the first time in human history we have obtained self-governance. We're not subject to tyranny. We're not subject to a monarchy. We're not subject to principalities, except when the Israelites were living through the prophets, and they kept demanding a king. And we've been off to the races ever since we got a king. So anyway, the term noble experiment doesn't mean we're guinea pigs. No excuse for that young man to curse and put things in capital letters. This is, historically speaking, a huge privilege to be alive and to be part of this, quote, noble experiment that hasn't happened for thousands of years. The right to self-government, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But my qualms are, look what we've done. Look what we've done to this experiment by not participating, by letting other people run our lives, by saying, that's just too bad when they take a dumpster away from the back of Planned Parenthood. How we've just let go of the steering wheel. Now, I was involved in local politics quite a bit, but I never really reached out to other people that were disaffected or didn't want to be involved. Yeah, maybe I'm to blame too. I guess we all are to a certain extent, but we have to get it through people's heads that we have a responsibility. Freedom is a huge responsibility, and if you ignore it, you'll lose it. And I think we're going to learn that lesson coming up, but hopefully and thankfully, most of us, and we're a small group, but most of us are ready for that, and we'll get through it. So, yeah, pharaohs. Let me see. Who said pharaoh? My eyeball caught some on Kim. Yeah. Modern day pharaohs. Well, yeah, principalities and kings, pharaohs, and the evil spirits of the heavens. If you read that passage. But anyway, so not to be a gloom and doomer, but this is, as Mr. T said, the final battle. And from his speech tonight, Jack Posobiec put up a quote from his speech. This is the final battle. And he said, with you at my side, we will demolish the deep state. We will mongers from our government. We will drive out the globalists. We will cast out the communists, Marxists, and fascists. We will throw off the sick political class that hates our country. We will rout the fake news media. We will defeat Joe Biden, and we will drain the swamp, capital letters, once and for all. So, what are some of the things they're going to try to do to stop it? I said, don't rule out a Supreme Court justice, or maybe more than one, being indicted or arrested. Don't discount the fact that they may ration staples that we need. They may surreptitiously disconnect power to create discomfort and panic. He could suspend habeas corpus, like Lincoln did. He could invoke martial law. They could arrest Trump again, actually physically put hands on him, or worse. You know they want to do that. You know, if we didn't have Trump in 2016, and we still had the sophisticated psyops going uninterrupted, what could have been in the cards by now? What could have been in the cards? Look how far our culture has already fallen and been destroyed, even in the midst of the awakening, with what's happening in our schools, what's happening to our culture with our entertainment industry, what's happening on the political scene, law enforcement scene. Imagine that times 10. Times 10. if Mr. T had not gotten in. Nobody to counter the narrative about the thing in the shoulder. No competing voice. What would have been the chances of us being overwhelmed by panicked lawmakers that put stuff into place that force, like they do in Brazil, people to get the thing in the shoulder or be quarantined in their home? And if they resist, take their weapons. Do you think we would have money right now if Hillary would have got in 2016? Or would we be on some kind of digital crap that they can cut on and off like a faucet? So we're very fortunate for 2016 because it would have been right now, if it wasn't for Trump in 2016, right now would have been hell on earth. So, yeah, they could come out with another outbreak. What was that news report that China reported or was reported about China? That they came up with an illness that is tailored to genetics. Okay, China develops new, I got to be careful with this word. China develops a new BIO weapon, okay, program that specifically attacks the genetics of an individual or group. They're tailoring these weapons to specifically attack a group or people or individuals, so they can't be blamed when the people start corking off. That was reported today. So what if they release something like that? So anyway, I'm not trying to scare people. I'm just trying to say, think like a desperate commie that is in power and you know is coming close. It could be 12 months. It could be tomorrow for all I know. Trump could be just throwing people off. But they're not going to let go easy. Remember the old saying, if I can't have it, nobody can have it. You know, people destroy things before they give it up. Think of our government in that way. How much disruption people are willing to cause, especially if they think their neck is on the line. So all the different things they can do, and get yourself psychologically prepared for it. The Sound of Freedom is almost sold out. Oh, good. You know, people have criticisms of that, and I won't get into any details or anything, but it is getting the concept of this trafficking in the public consciousness. Okay? Future stories, like I believe the one Mel Gibson is working on, this one could be a primer. This one could be a primer to get people to accept the fact that this is a scourge, like DJT says, an ancient art. It's been going on for thousands of years. So it might not have all the details everybody wants in there, but you know, a lot of people are just now hearing about the extent of this horror. So yeah, I'm glad it's moving along, and I don't fault one bit of it. But Trump did put out some good news. It's hard to keep up who's trying to arrest him, who's trying to indict him. But a big win, he says, against Letitia Peekaboo James, the Trump-hating attorney general of New York State. The appellate division terminated a large portion of the case. In conjunction with the DOJ and others, this hoax is all about election interference pertaining to 2024. This is a case that should have never been bought. Thank you, appellate division. So a big part of her case got thrown in the trash pail, and Mr. T is very happy about that. And I believe these prosecutors are going to be facing prosecution. If that might sound kooky the way I said it, but I don't think so. Now, let me get back in the studio. See what's going on in the chats. There you go, Lori. Don't take any DNA tests. Jimmy Crickets. Yep. Oh, that's good, Jamie. Was it Jamie said that? Oh, Jamie, yeah. You bought people tickets? Yeah, buy people tickets. That's a smart idea. Oops. I got Nikki up on the things. Hi, Em. How you doing, Em? So anyway, I'm trying to find that Mark Levin comment about Jack Smith needs to go to prison for leaking that tape. And Donald Trump said, why did deranged Jack Smith and the DOJ FBI leak a tape to fake news CNN? Phony spin and all. Will they be prosecuted for this illegal act? Pure scum. And then he refers again to the Sox case and to the 12-year-old mentality Trump haters. They think that a former president, just because they hate him, that he has no security clearance, that he has no respect from any other government agencies, that he has no attorney-client privilege, that he has no executive privilege. That's idiotic way of thinking. We voted him out, so he can't have anything. He's supposed to have lint in his pockets. While he was president, they raised hell about his name being on a hotel, saying it was the emoluments clause, some more garbage they dug up to throw at him. That 12-year-olds buy that. Like any other former president had to give up every business interest they had, be stripped down to nothing if they don't like him. The Roosevelts were one of the wealthiest families in America. Did they make Franklin Roosevelt run around, sell all of his interests and things? Did they chase after Roosevelt's children? Of course not. But no, they think they're justified in this harassment and this menacing of Trump. And no, we've got a bunch of criminals instigating a psychological warfare campaign against the American people, utilizing the press, and these 12-year-old mentality crowd lap it up. And no, they don't have the right to force him to surrender all his papers. And no, they cannot falsely accuse him and libel him with impunity. That's going to come. Their punishment for doing that, libeling, menacing, and harassing him with this lawfare, that's coming. They're not going to get out of that. And they know it. So it's going to get more and more desperate each time. But if you have a person approaching you saying, Trump's a liar, Trump says, hey, you're repeating lies. I don't like hearing lies being repeated. I know they're lies because I do my homework. I like Trump. You don't. So that's enough. Okay. You keep to yourself your lies unless you're telling me something I don't already know, which I doubt very seriously you'll be able to do. That's the way you handle that. So anyway, let me see what's going on in the chats. Oh, but I'm way over an hour. But anyway, folks, this is a viewer supported and creator supported channel only. I don't get anything from any platform. I do have a buy me a coffee link in the description if anybody wants to help an old man out. It's greatly appreciated, and I thank everybody that's helped me come this far. I can tell you, the Godfather is Aaron and Robin. She was right behind him at the very beginning. I appreciate that. But in the last couple of weeks, let me see, the people who have supported me, of course, is Gary. I appreciate that so much, and love to garden, and Tennessee, Camperman, Gary again, a Lone Wolf, Tanya helped me out, and I appreciate it so much. And like I say, there's a link in the description. Let me put the all-time list up. Except I got to add Tanya on there, but this is the all-time list. So anyway, I got that out of the way. I was supposed to do it about halfway through, but I keep forgetting. So let's see. My father-in-law told me my husband was the milkman. It's next door neighbor. Oh my goodness. No, he's just teasing you. That's right. They can get your DNA from just about anywhere. Creeps. Turnaround is fair play. That's right. Fair game. So look at everything that they've made fair game. And Obama, what did he do now? He's been coming out. He's been bashing Fox News. So he's going to be making some moves. He's another one that's sweating because Joe is crumbling. Joe is their problem, and it's going to be interesting to see how they handle it. And they're doing internal polling about this Gavin Newsom. That's why they're really not committing to having him run against Biden, because Biden already said there's going to be no debates. There's going to be no primaries. So they're feeling around with this Gavin Newsom, but they've got to be doing internal polls where it's coming out that most Americans think California has gone cuckoo, and it may work in California, but it ain't going to work in a general election over the whole United States, Gavin Newsom. And so what are they left with? What are they left with, for crying out loud? They got to do something about Joe. How are they going to take care of that? I don't know. A lot of people say Mike Shell. I don't know. Mike Shell might be, maybe Mike Shell's a trump card. When they actually commit to running, some big piece of evidence comes out there about the actual, let's say, genealogy I'll put it that way, genealogy of Mike Shell, to where people think when you say, even if you play that clip that says, what's her name, the comedian, where she mentions Obama's the first gay president, people don't believe it. What if something came out then that showed everybody got defrauded back when Mike Shell and Obama were running? They didn't realize they were voting for what they were voting for. Maybe that's the trump card. I don't know. Hi, Jason. Man Shell. Yeah. Mike Shell. Man Shell. Mike Shell. Okay, Kim. Have a good evening. Reba's going to bed. Okay, everybody. Well, I appreciate you all. Everybody's heading out. Back at you, Gary. I appreciate it very much. Eisenhower was the first black president. Well, I'll just go wrap up with that. I meant to mention Eisenhower. Trump mentioned him because Eisenhower did the first mass deportation, 3.8 million people, and he engaged the military, right? And Trump has brought that up. Okay, so anyway, that's something we got to think about, folks. So anyway, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And I hope you guys put some thought. I know most of you do into a lot of things I'm talking about. Be not afraid, be prepared, and be prepared to help your friends and loved ones. Okay, so I'll be broadcasting again soon. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. You all have a great night, and I'll be seeing you soon. And thank you all. This is Mountain Man, over and out.